Hey, welcome to the DB channel. Today we have another Mother D Reaper game because we all love mothers. This time we have it against the Marineangemon, a card introduced in EX02 with a high recovery potential, especially against decks with no Digisource. And we all know that D Reapers don't exactly have any Digisource aside from the Mother itself. Now, would the high recovery from the Marineangemon outlast the D Reapers? Or of course, would Mother conquer all? Now without further ado, let's dive right into the game itself as we do see the dual tamer being set up for the right player already and playing the Kenta Kitagawa. So basically the Kenta tamer does really help Marineangemon to, make sure that he does recovery 1, because when you do hardcore the Marineangemon, you can actually discard all the Digisource from a Digimon, but we do know that Mother is not affected by effects, so that's a dodge right there. Or not, if Mother can be discarded, man, he will lose all his kids in one turn. Now I'm going to use the Mother skill to actually put the Searcher from hand to the soul immediately so that we can actually hardcore the Jerry with reduced cost by 3 to use the effect by looking at top 5 to put one more Searcher into the Digisource, and we are already at 4 already, and that's very fast if you ask me. And we're going to hardcore the Pendulum Feet to look at top 3, and we're going to pick up the ADR 7 and ADR 02, and we do give him 2 more memory thanks to the Dual Tamer. It's going to actually hardcore the Marineangemon already, which is a total of 10 cost thanks to the Kenta, because Kenta does reduce the play cost by 1. And given that I have 2 Digimons with no Digisource, he does recovery 2. However, Marineangemon does have a limit of up to 6 security, so that's very unfortunate. However, I think that's balanced, of course, in a way. I'm going to use the Jerry skill to look at top 5 once again to put one Searcher from the top deck to the bottom of the Mother, making it 5 Digisource already. Gonna start swinging with the Searchers. Does hit into a Howling Mirror Boost. And of course, we're gonna have hardcore the ADR08 Optimizer, which is only 5 cost thanks to the Mother skill. By looking at top 3, we do see 2 Gatekeepers and 1 Reaper, so definitely no progress on that. And we're gonna hardcore the Searcher to draw 1, drawing the Reaper to hand, and thanks to the Dual Tamer, he does go to 3 memory. So I do have already 4 Digimons, or rather 3 attacking Digimons on my side, and he's going to swing the Marineangemon at security, but unfortunately he does hit into the Reaper straight away, so it does die. He's going to hardcore the Vmon here, look at top 4 for a dual yellow-blue card, in the form of Shakomon. He's going to add it to hand, so he does have a lot of recovery cards in the deck itself. It's supposed to outlast the opponent, and he's going to swing the Angemon on the Jerry. Given that he does have 6k DP, he does unfortunately miss the Upamon draw there, so very unfortunate. And he's going to hardcore the Enkylomon, and going to use the Jogres evolution of the Patamon end of turn. He's going to Jogres evolution, putting the yellow on top, and evolving to the Shakomon which we picked up earlier. So he's going to heal 1, and putting him to 6 security. Given that the Shakomon does have a very strong Jogres evolution skill which only affects level Digimon, but on the other hand, Mother D Reaper cards don't have any level, so it's a dodge right there. I'm going to swing the Searcher, hitting to Azulongmon, which is a very scary card to fight against too, but looks like we do kill it in the security. I'm going to use the Optimizer to actually hardcore the Searcher, looking at top 3, going to pick up the Gatekeeper to hand for 1 check, hitting to another Howling Mirror Boost. And because I do have 6 already, I'm going to hardcore the ADR07 for free. I'm going to use the effect to actually kill off the Shakomon just by tapping. That is very easy death, I would say. I'm going to hardcore the ADR04 Bubbles to actually put one of the Searcher in. And currently we are at 6 already. Now with 7 Digisource, the Reaper can come down. So definitely he does have only 1 more turn to, store. And he has to end the game in this turn itself, but looks like he can't actually end the game given that I do have 4 security, and it's going to evolve to the Angemon in the nursery, giving me back just 1 memory. Now this is where I do have to hope for 1 more Reaper, or rather the Searcher in hand. I'm going to use the Optimizer first to look at top 3, and I do hit into the Jerry, because Jerry does allow me to search for more Searchers, but do make sure that the Optimizer leave the cards on top, so as I do make sure here. Using the Jerry to look at the top 5 for 1 last Searcher to make myself to 7 Searchers there. So with 7 Searchers, you already know who's coming down. I'm going to use the bubbles to push more first, hitting to a Kenta. I'm going to use the Party's Head to of course kill off the Vmon, making sure that he doesn't really have much of a board to work with. And with 7, I'm going to discard all of them. And then of course hard calling the Reaper from hand, which is going to start swinging given that it does have Rush. At the end of the attack, I can actually put 2 Searchers under it, and it can stand again and start swinging. So this is definitely game for game 1. Moving on to game 2 here, with him going first, hatching to the Upamon first, and of course evolving to the Patamon. and then following up with an Angemon in the nursery, giving back 3 memory. Now I must say giving a lot of memory to the Reapers can actually spell a lot of misplay for them, especially because they don't really want to hardcore a lot of stuff in the first turn, and instead I do actually hardcore 2 searches. It might seem very good, but at this turn right here, he's going to push out an Angemon and of course evolve to the Chimeramon and apply those minus DP on those searches. And now all those searches is going to die, and this does spell a lot of trouble for the mother because the mother no longer can put those searches into the Digisource, and you do have limited searches anyway in the deck, so this is when the bricking can happen. Now the Jerry will be hardcore for 4 costs here, which is pretty much if you ask me, and it's going to hatch the Upamon and evolving to the Patamon once again in the nursery. He's going to swing with the Chimeramon and the nursery. Does forget to draw with the Upamon skill once again, very unfortunate for that, and he does hit into nothing there. He's going to hardcore the Vmon to choke me at 1 memory, and this is when Mother D Reapers do really suffer because if you don't have any searches under your mother, you can actually reduce costs and you are going to pass turn most of the time, and you don't want to restrict yourself to just 1 move per turn. You basically want to really speed up the searches and make sure that you do hit the 7 as soon as possible against decks, or actually even 6 to make sure that the Gatekeeper is online. You're going to hardcore the Bubbles here to just pass the turn, so it looks like we don't have any more searches in hand. This is where the first turn whereby he gives me 3 memory and forcing me to actually hardcore the 2 searches by mistake actually cost me the game. He does evolve the Angemon in the nursery and further choking me at 1 memory. Looks like I don't actually hit the searches, but I do hit into the ADR 03, allowing me to look at top 3. We do hit into the searches as well as the Jerry, which will really help us to actually fill the Digisource for the mother, but I would say it's a bit too late, as I do hardcore the searcher to just pass back 1 memory to him, given that he doesn't have any tamer to make sure he does gain any memory at the start of turn. Just push out the Angemon and start swinging with the Digimons. I would say he has plenty of time before the Mother D Reaper do actually become online, given that the Mother D Reaper really need to hit a 6 and you can only hit like 2 to 3 maximum per turn. So he definitely has a lot of time to, spare. I'm gonna swing my Digimons at the security to do some damage, cheap damage I would say. I'm gonna hardcore the Jerry and pass the turn. Not able to actually use her skill before passing the turn is gonna be quite unfortunate if you ask me, given that I really do need to speed up these searcher counts. It's gonna evolve to the Betamon in the nursery there with the Upamon hatched. Gonna start swinging the Chimeramon, pushing me to 2 security. It's gonna hardcore the Ankylomon, and I'm gonna Jogres Evolution through the Patamon skill during the end of turn. Putting the Ankylomon and the Angemon together, he's actually gonna go for another Chimeramon, which is gonna kill off that bubble hit, given that it does have only 3k DP. I would say the Chimera effect really do well against Mother D Reapers because you do want to reduce their board as much as possible. You want to prevent them from actually flooding the board and of course killing you without the D Reapers. I'm going to use this Pendulum Feet to actually pick up 2 searches there, which is very nice, given that it's about time that I do draw into the searches, but I would say the early game really costed this game. Now I'm going to use the Jerry to actually kill the Chimeramon instead of actually searching for more searches, given that I do have only 2 security left and he does have 3 Digimons on the field. I'm going to hardcore the Bubbles to put 1 more searcher from my hand to the Digisource, and currently we are looking at 5 searches already. Now if we do survive this turn, in the next turn we have 6 Digisource, which is going to allow us to actually have the Gatekeeper online, which allows us to actually minus security attack -1 on their board. But looks like he does recognize the pressure of the Gatekeeper and is going to start swinging at the security with the Digimons, hitting me to 1 already with the Chimeramon, and going to swing the Betamon at the last security. Does draw 1 thanks to the Upamon, and he does have 2 memories, so they're going to push out the Kenta and evolve to the Kumamon and go for game in his turn. So that concludes game 2. I'll be moving on to game 3, and I would say game 3 with Mother D Reaper going first. Hardcoring the searcher to start the game is actually very strong because you do memory choke the opponent instantly, giving him only 1 memory to work with. So whatever he's going to do, he's going to pass a turn with plenty of memory to you, unless he does play cheap evolutions. Now he's going to go for the Mag Ishida and give us 3 memory to work with, and this is where the game really starts escalating, given that we can actually hardcore the searcher 1 more time for just 1 cost, and then using the Pendulum Feet to actually look at top 3 to pick up a searcher as well as the D Reaper card, and we do pick up the Pilates head and the searcher to hand. He does start the turn off with 3 memory thanks to the Mag Ishida. He does push out the Patamon and evolving to the Kumamon for just 2 costs. It's gonna hardcore the Ankylomon and gonna Jogres Evolution thanks to that Patamon skill. It's gonna go Jogres Evolution into the Chimeramon, which will actually deal with the board there, so the searcher does die as well as the Pendulum Feet. I would say this is a very good move. However, I do have multiple searches in hand, so this will prevent myself from unbricking. I'm gonna chuck 1 of them to the Mother D Reaper. I'm gonna hardcore another one, of course, keep drawing 1. And given that he just caught the Chimeramon down, I'm gonna safely hardcore another searcher to put onto the field, mainly to just cycle through the deck. He's gonna hatch the Upamon. and playing 2 Kentas to actually pass the turn. So it looks like his hand doesn't really have too much, but I would say that he should have swing with the Marineangemon at the security, because you don't really want to waste time against Mother D Reapers, because once they hit their strike, the deck is going to go very crazy. Now, given that we currently have like 4 searches already, which is very fast if you ask me, and we do have the ADR03 Pendulum Feet to actually pass the turn, looking at top 3. Now this is where I made a mistake here, given that you can only pick up 1 searcher and 1 D Reaper card, but I actually pick up 2 D Reaper cards instead, so a slight misplay on there. And it's going to start swinging the Marineangemon. We're going to use the Enkylemon to cure one of the searchers and dealing 1 security damage. It's going to draw 1 thanks to the Upamon. And of course, it's going to push out one of the Kentas to actually hybrid Digivolve into a Kumamon for 2 costs. And then hard calling a Vmon to pass the turn, looking at top 4, and most likely going to pick up the Sharpomon again. We do start out the turn with 2 memory here. We do hard call 1 searches to draw 1, using the Mother effect to put 1 of the searches underneath her, and we currently do have 5. So basically the party's head will just be 1 cost. Using his skill, we can kill off the Marineangemon with ease, which is very sick. We're going to use the Pendulum Feet to start swinging at security, dealing much needed damage. We took into a Howling Memory boost, but that's fine. We're going to start swinging with further Digimons, but this one does die. We're going to hardcore the Searcher to pass the turn. We're going to start out the turn with 3 memory once again. And it's going to evolve to the Angelmon for 3 costs, and actually going for the Jogress Evolution immediately. Looks like he does go for the Marineangemon, which will actually clear off the board once again very nicely. So I must say Marineangemon is a very decent card actually against Mother D Reapers. But however, will it be in time, given that he does have only 1 Digimon attack, hitting me to 3 security only, and the next few turns the Daddy Reaper is going to come down. And looks like he's going to go for the Marine boost, actually evolving to the Frost Fulgurmon, which is actually very nice, a rather strong effect I would say, given that opponent must discard Digisource when they swing. But against the Mother D Reaper, that card might actually spell a lot of trouble for him, as I do pick up 2 searches from the top deck to my hand, using the Mother D Reaper effect to actually put 1 of it straight away. And we're going to card call the Gatekeeper to heal 1. And given that we have 6 Digisource already, Gatekeeper is online, so all of his Digimon will have security attack -1. The Patamon will swing at security, but thanks to the Gatekeeper it doesn't hit, but the Upamon still draw 1 though. So we go for the Blue Marine boost loop for some hope there. Looking at top 4. And we of course see the Azulongmon, which is definitely the card he needs, but he might be too late because next turn, that's where the Daddy Reaper will come down. He's going to hardcore the Marineangemon for 10 costs to actually hope to stall the game as much as possible, given that he does heal to 6 security here. However, will that be enough? We're going to start off the turn with 4 memory to work with here. We use the searches, or rather the Mother ability to put 1 of the searches under her. We're going to start swinging the Gatekeeper at the security to chip some damage, as well as the Pendulum Feet, putting him to 4 security already, and given that we have 7, we're going to hardcore the Reaper for 0 cost here, and this is where the fun interaction begins, given that he does have the Frost Virgilmon there. So every time a Reaper attack, at the end of the attack I do put 2 ADR0 searches underneath, and we're going to start swing, and with the Frost Virgilmon effect, I'm going to discard 1 Digisource, which allows Reapers to attack more than usual as compared to other matchups, so the card actually works against him. So this is definitely unfortunate on his end, as the Reaper start hitting the security without any mercy, hitting to 0 and of course hit for the last swing. Now this is the Reaper list that I personally piloted in this game. And of course this is the Marineangemon, which he piloted in this game as well. Thank you guys for watching till the end, and do consider subscribing, dropping a like and a comment if you guys do enjoy the content.